Trump demanded that Iran reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or the Americans will destroy Iranian plants, giving a 48-hour deadline. International Affairs correspondent Trey Yingst brings more information live from Tel Aviv. Trey.
Yes, hello Peter, good morning. With Operation Epic Fury entering its fourth week, President Trump issues a new warning to the Iranian regime. Last night, he used Truth Social to say, if Iran does not fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, the U.S. will attack and destroy their power plants. Starting with the largest, thank you for your attention. The president talks about this critical route, which has been paralyzed after Iranian threats against merchant ships. Today, I asked the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu about the president's statement. Trump said last night that if Iran does not open the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, there will be attacks on the Iranian power grid. Will you take part in this, and what should happen next in the campaign?
I think President Trump knows exactly what he's doing, and whatever we do, we'll do it together and as much as possible discreetly.
The Prime Minister also mentioned the threat of missiles from Iran. Over the weekend, 2 missiles tried to hit the Diego Garcia base in the Indian Ocean. That is 300 kilometers from Iranian territory and indicates that the Iranians were not transparent about their medium-range ballistic missiles. According to the Prime Minister, Europe is under threat from Iran's missile program. The Israeli Defense Forces, as shown in this weekend's video, are attacking Iranian ballistic missile depots. They also destroyed several launchers in the country. Former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett describes what the threat from Iranian missiles is like.
It's important that Europe wakes up now and understands that the United States and Israel, under the leadership of President Trump, are preventing an Iranian nuclear nightmare all across Europe. We fought this war to protect them, but the lie has been exposed. Iran has missiles that can reach Madrid, Berlin, and Paris. Now they have woken up and realized that they are under Iranian threat.
At the place where we interviewed Bennett and Netanyahu, more than 100 people were injured last night by a single Iranian ballistic missile that exploded in a residential area. Peter.
Excellent report, as always. Thank you, Trey. Now let's introduce the former commander of the USS Cole, Kirk Lippold. Kirk. With what was left of Iran's armed forces, they fired 2 intermediate-range ballistic missiles. We have a map showing intermediate-range ballistic missiles. Iran missed. They were aiming at the United States and United Kingdom base in Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. But if they aim the other way, these IRBMs can reach Russia, Rome, Munich, Paris, London, Berlin, Oslo, and Moscow. How big is this problem?
It's a very serious problem, Peter. As everyone said, there was no imminent threat before this. First, it proves that Iran lied the whole time about its ballistic missile program. Second, the Europeans, with the largest land war between Ukraine and Russia, are now also under direct threat from Iran. It's a real threat. We confront Iran today, and the Europeans must understand that when President Trump asks for help, it's not just for us, but for them as well.
Also about the allies. If Iran has shown in recent weeks that it would fire missiles even at its partners in the Gulf, what would stop them from trying to hit Paris?
Absolutely nothing. And that's exactly where the danger lies as we continue to degrade Iran's capability while reducing its power projection in the Strait of Hormuz. Now we need to ensure the strike on those intermediate-range ballistic missiles because they pose a real threat. In the end, Europe will have to join us to defeat Iran, promote a change of government, and allow the people to build their own future.
It's surprising that after 3 weeks of Operation Epic Fury, with explosions all over Iran and their armed forces decimated, they're still launching long-range ballistic missiles capable of reaching European capitals.
Peter, Iran is a big country and they had a very dispersed army, just like we have in our country. And the fact is they still have remnants with capability. They will use that capability, and as the regime deteriorates, when they realize they're really going to lose power, they'll react unpredictably. If they have an intermediate range missile, what stops them from loading it, something that could really change the course of the war in Europe? Why will they see the continent as an ally of the United States and react in desperate ways to try to preserve their power?
Commanders and chiefs hate surprises. President Trump talked about his surprise with epic fury. You mentioned Iran and its actions after epic fury, mentioning attacks on Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Kuwait. No one expected this. We were shocked, surprised that no one warned you beforehand that this would be their retaliation. No one.
No, not even the top experts thought they could do it.
Surprised by that?
Kirk, actually, I'm not. I think in the end, you can prepare as much as you want, but once the conflict starts, it becomes predictable. What you try to do as a soldier is to predict as best as you can what the enemy's reaction will be when you face them. But they will always try something different from what you expect. Military training and exercises are meant to react to unexpected situations first, then to deter, then to degrade the enemy's ability to act, and finally to eliminate it. That's exactly what Secretary Hegseth and the President did with Iran.
These third-tier Iranian generals are threatening an eye for an eye with Iranian military force, he tells allied officials. From now on, based on what we know, parks, recreational areas, and tourist spots anywhere in the world will no longer be safe for you. Do you see this as a real threat, considering that the regime has already been so weakened?
Even if the threat seems empty, you need to take them seriously. What they show, once again, is that they have no respect whatsoever for international law. The world order based on rules has never existed in their eyes. They don't care if this violates the Geneva Convention. What they're going to do is attack in any way they see possible. I mean, they're willing to execute 19-year-old fighters for participating in protests. They are ruthless, they kill, they have no moral or ethical compass, and they will keep acting like this. That's why this regime needs to be removed and ultimately destroyed. We've spent 47 years, as the senator said, trying to deal with this regime. And finally, President Trump had the courage to say enough, no more limits. Hundreds of Americans dead, thousands wounded and maimed. It's time to hold this Iranian regime accountable for what it has done, Kirk.
Lippold, you've released a new book. What's it called?
It's not old, but it highlights the Al-Qaeda attack on the USS Cole. It really describes the team of heroes I had on the morning of October 12th, 2000.
Hello, thanks for coming today.
All right?